Hey guys, welcome to Troy Time. Hey, check it out. The gardening season's coming up quick, all right? Today we're going to talk about our Jumpstart garden, okay? What I'm referring to here is a garden that's going to help extend the life of your garden across much more of the year, okay? We're going to talk about it next, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing coming up next. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, check it out. So, I'm here in Virginia. We're in zone 8A, all right? So, what that means for us as far as seasonally is that we have 4 months of winter, okay? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to a place where as easy and as efficiently as possible, you can harvest from your garden throughout the entire year, okay? And the Jumpstart Garden is going to be a big part of that, all right? That's what we're going to talk about today. So what I'm saying is, through our normal growing season of our spring garden and our summer garden and our fall garden, we're growing all the things that we want to grow, right? We're doing our normal stuff. But what I'm proposing is that bookending that a month deeper into the winter and a month earlier on the spring, before everything gets going, we choose the most cold tolerant crops to grow during those extra months and kind of bookend the winter. So right now our winter is 4 months where we're not producing anything, we're not harvesting anything. So what I want to do is 1 month here at the end of the fall, right at the beginning of winter, I want to grow cold tolerant greens, okay? And 1 month here on the beginning before spring starts, I want to grow cold tolerant greens, okay? Which will just leave 2 months. And the overall plan is to have during that 2 months, we are reharvesting a large crop of our root vegetables that have been sitting and waiting to be harvested over the winter. Okay, so that means that the greens are going to take care of 2 months of the summer, and our root vegetables that are sort of waiting in stasis right there, almost like a makeshift root cellar. Okay, we talked about that. I talked about overwintering potatoes in a video just a couple videos back, and we had real decent success. About 50% of ours made it, and 50 didn't, and that was with us doing nothing. Right? So we're going to make a few modifications, and we're going to have all of our roots and all of our vegetables making it through the winter available to harvest. That's for another video. For this video, to combine with that so that we have a continuous harvest, continuously harvesting from our garden all through the year, we want to develop the ability to grow some different cold tolerant crops. Some of them we might not like for all year round, but we want to grow them so that we have that ability to just always be harvesting from our garden. So even if you've not thought about trying some of these crops before, pay attention. I'm going to show you some of the most cold tolerant crops. We're going to do a big experiment and see how it goes. I got a real good feeling about a lot of this. So let's get into what we're doing. Yeah, so we're going to find the crops and the types of certain crops that are the most cold tolerant, that can grow under harsh conditions. We're going to grow them. We're going to grow them in a tower garden. We're going to grow them in soil, right? Because obviously, if you want to get a jump and get some plants in before the freezing point, it's not going to be hydroponics for this one. It's going to have to be soil. So we're going to use a Dollar Tree stackable tower. We've got several of them in the backyard, as you saw it, if you've seen my videos. We're going to use soil in it, as opposed to some of the hydroponics we'll be doing in those this summer. And we're going to find the most cold tolerant crops. We're going to fill that thing up, and we're going to check and see how they all do. We may make a few tweaks and stuff going into it, and then coming into the fall and next year, we'll have it mastered so that we have just beautiful crops, beautiful greens coming in, and even some root vegetables coming in throughout the whole winter. So that's the goal, and that's part of what this series is about. And so stay tuned. Let's talk about exactly what we're doing. Okay, so to start us off, let's go with kale. Okay, now kale hasn't been my favorite in the past. It is so rugged though, and it grows so easily. I think it's going to do wonderful out here in the garden. Okay, we're going to grow some kale. Hopefully, if y'all got some good recipes on how you can make kale taste a little better, then let me know down in the comments. But kale definitely makes the list. All right, so next up, we've got corn salad, or what's called lamb's lettuce. Okay, sometimes you hear it called lamb's ear lettuce. This is a new one to me. Usually I'm getting the inexpensive seeds. This one I think I paid $3 for, but it's supposed to be super cold tolerant, okay? And I got to look at it. I got a feeling it's going to taste pretty good. So we're definitely going to mix that in and see how it does in our cold weather garden here. I think it's going to be good. All right, next up, spinach. Now, I've grown to love spinach over the years. I didn't used to like it when I was younger, but I like it now. And everyone knows it's super good for you, right? And so we're going to grow some spinach. Spinach typically has a hard time growing in the heat, and it can have a hard time germinating. So in the cool weather is where you really want to grow your spinach, and that's what we're going to do. That's going right into our Dollar Tree stackable tower with the rest of them. Okay, and here we have arugula. I did buy arugula for microgreens. It was a little spicy for me, so I didn't quite like it that much as a microgreen, but I think we're going to grow it as a lettuce now and see how it does. It should do really well in the cold. Also, I think I'm going to revisit it as a sprout and see if I don't like it maybe a little better as a sprout than as a microgreen. It does have a very sharp, spicy flavor, okay? But arugula is the next one on our list. All right, also Swiss chard. I'm super excited about this one. This one, I'm not sure if it's going to germinate. I think it's a tough one sometimes, but it's a super rugged plant once you get it to grow. And I just can't imagine how awesome it's going to be if we get some bright colors out there, especially against maybe a possible snowy background. I think that would be awesome just for the visual. And here's some of our normal standby ones. So this is the Paris Island romaine lettuce, right? Which is a staple. It's my favorite. I bought this pack. It's a 1/4 pound of seeds, and I bought it, I think, 3 years ago for $10. And I've been running 100 seeds at a time. You're seeing me put 100 seeds on these plates, and it hasn't even put a dent in this. So this is just going to last years and years and years. And I got the whole thing for $10, and it's supposed to be very cold tolerant. Okay, last year, check it out. Last year I had volunteer lettuce. Look at this lettuce. I did nothing. This just grew. A seed fell in there at some point. This is December 30th. Okay, and lettuce is just volunteer growing in my garden. And it looks good. It looks really good. And so this year, I hope we get a lot of success. Here it is right in the Tower Gardens. So this is December 30th last year, and I didn't do anything. So this year, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put it out there, and we'll see if we can't get a nice, cool weather crop of lettuce, even before normal. Normally, they would be transferring this in on my chart. It says for planting, it says put it in like March 31st. April 1st. So that's crazy. Next up is pak choi, right? And that's another favorite of mine. I love this. I love that it's a Chinese cabbage, really good in soups, and it should fare pretty well in the cool weather. So I'm anxious to see. We got a lot of variety here. I'm anxious to see, how these things do. We're going to put them in that stackable Dollar Tree garden, and we're just going to let it go and see what we can do for these cool weather crops. But a lot of variety, a lot of stuff that's super good for you, and I'm really looking forward to doing this experiment. So let's get this thing planted. I'm going to show you how we do that next. Okay, guys, let's talk about the process. Okay, this process that we're going to use here is awesome. I use this all the time. Okay, we're going to use the green and whites with some toilet paper, and it works out. It's super clean, it's super easy, it's super inexpensive. Okay, and I'm going to do a whole tray. Okay, I just showed you a method using condiment containers to do seeds, but we're going to do so much of this lettuce. I'm going to do it all on a tray. We're going to do a full tray. The reason being is I'm going to use some of it inside in full size systems, and I'm going to use some of it outside in the Jumpstart stackable grow tower that we just talked about. They're going to go out in there. So after you lay the toilet paper down, you just mist it to hold it in place, right? Easy peasy, no worries. And then we're just going to sprinkle our romaine lettuce on there, okay? We've got our Paris Island romaine, right? We're going to use about 100 seeds, okay? So just sprinkle them into your hand and then just distribute them, just let them trinkle and sprinkle around and cover the plate, and I'll show you about the density that we're going here. But this works out awesome. You've seen me do this on other videos, and this is one of my favorite things to do. In all honesty, of everything I grow, man, doing this lettuce on these plates is amazing. Now, we're going to harvest it off these plates, but oftentimes you can leave it right on the plate, and that's totally magical. It really is. I'll show you a picture of that coming up. It just makes me happy every time I grow just a giant plate in the plate method. It just brings joy to me, right? So you're going to see that here. But this is about the density that you want, and it's so easy. Look, guys, the whole process takes like 30 seconds to plant an entire plate, right? And it's the magic. It really is. Guys, this plate right here, this is this. This turns into this in 28 days, 30 days. That's what you get. That's your 1 square foot hydroponic plate lettuce, right? It's awesome. But after about 20 days on this one, 20, 21, something like that, we're going to harvest the lettuce off of this plate, and we're going to put it into that tower outside. That's our experiment that we're working on today. Okay, so we're just going to give these things a mist, right? Just about like that. You do have to keep them watered, probably about 3 times a day, especially in the winter when it's really dry. Usually I do it in the morning when I wake up, when I get home from work, and right before I go to bed. So super easy, only takes like 10 seconds, 5 seconds to water it. That's our humidity dome, and we are done. That's our lettuce. All right, so we're also going to do a full plate of pak choi, okay? So we're going to do the exact same process. There's our toilet paper, we sprinkle it, and we're going to use the pak choi, right? And I love this stuff. And so it's really good. I like it a lot. I use it in soups. I use it in stir fries. I like to cook it. I don't like it so much raw, but after you cook it, it's really good. Same exact process. We're going to use about the same density, same number of seeds, and we're just going to sprinkle this down exactly the same. And this also makes a huge tray of food. You can grow this right on the plate. We've shown that in other videos as well. So this, some of it's probably going to stay on the plate, and some of it's going to go in other full-size systems, both indoors and the outdoor jumpstart garden that we're talking about today. I might go just a little less density on this, because I tend to use not quite so much pak choi as I do lettuce. I spilled a few on the table here, and we'll magically throw those on board and clean that up. These seeds are tiny, man. They are tiny. Okay, and we'll get those in. And yeah, and then on that, we're just going to spray it just the same afterwards. And we are done with 2 of our trays. Okay, that's about the density that you want, and that's what it looks like after it's sprayed. And we're going to throw a humidity dome on that, and we're going to put it right with our other tray. And we can stack them right up together. So here's 2 of them stacked together in one bay of our little 1 square foot hydroponic tower. And that's great. If we had them weighted down, we don't weight down lettuce, but if we were weighting down, you could put 3 or 4 trays in a row. When I use my big racks upstairs, my big grow racks, I've had them 5 or 6 high. And I kind of tilt them a little bit just to give it a little more stability and have a little bit of airflow through them. But that's on the big racks. But for today, we're going to stick with what we're doing down here. You can stack them 2 at a time on the 1 square foot hydroponic rack. And we're going to move on now. So we're going to do spinach, okay? Spinach here, we're going to go 2 of our little vertical lines. We're going to fill 2 of those with our spinach. I like spinach a lot. I've grown to like it more and more as I get older. I think it's really, really good. It's hard to germinate, so I'm overplanting all of these because I don't know what the germination rate's going to be on some of these. Okay, some of these seeds are a little older. This already got some spinach growing upstairs, and this is the floating raft system I talk about. I had a few seed containers that were just open when I was doing another project, so I just threw them on the plate that I was doing. And when it came time to harvest that plate, I just took them off and threw them in this. And they've just been sitting there. I haven't even touched them. I've got a cucumber growing there. There was like 1 seed left in the packet. I've got spinach growing there. And it's just so easy. It's awesome. We've talked about that once. We'll talk about that again in the future. But yeah, my spinach is rocking. That's a dwarf spinach. Cucumber, sorry, dwarf cucumber. And then the spinach is here in the background. And you'll see that. Look at that. Beautiful leaves already. It's just sitting there, just in a little film of nutrients, love and life, right? So that works really, really good. Sorry for the tangent, but I wanted to show you that. Okay, back to what we were doing. So this is our lamb's ear lettuce, right? Or our lamb's lettuce. And we're this one I'm really excited to taste. I got a feeling it's gonna taste really good. So we're just gonna do 1 row of that. We have that here. And that is our lamb's ear lettuce. Also called, what's it called here? Corn salad, okay? So anxious to try that one. A lot of these, hopefully a lot of them will work out really well. Now, I'm not soaking any of these seeds. I probably should have on a couple of these, but they're going to get sprayed. Next up is going to be our arugula, okay? We're going to use 1 row of that as well, okay? Like I say, I'm not soaking any of these seeds or anything. The one I'm really concerned about is the Swiss chard. I think you're maybe supposed to break that apart when you plant it. I don't recall, but I'll look and see. We may have to do something like that. It may not work out, but that's okay because we got plenty of seeds here to do our experiment, all right? So here's our arugula going down that row. And I just use the rows as sort of a marker so I know what I'm planting, right? That's our arugula. Cool. Gonna look at trying that one in a sprout here in the future. And let's see. So now we got our next row going up. And this is the Swiss chard. And something, I've grown it before and I've grown it okay. I just did a few, maybe 4 of them. And I think you're supposed to break the seeds apart, but I don't exactly recall. I'll watch a few videos and check and see, and if that's the case, that I may come back and touch on a couple of them and try and break it a little bit. But we'll see. For right now, we're just going to throw it down. Easy peasy. Right? And our last row. So here we go. And this is our last row. This one here, we're planting out. And, we're not going super dense with this one because we don't need that much of it. But yeah, sorry for the focus issues. My hands are causing that to cut in and out. Apologize. But yeah, that one's done. And the whole plate, easy peasy. That's our kale. Like I said, I don't like kale so much. But we're going to grow some, and we'll see how it does, and we'll try and find a good way to eat it. Recommend how I can eat it in the comments if you know a good way. All right, so that's what we got for our layout, and you can tell that each one of those packets corresponds with one of the lines, right? We got 2 lines of spinach, 1 line of corn salad or lamb's ear, 1 line of arugula, 1 line of Swiss chard, and one line of the kale. All right, that's the density a little closer so you can see. But yeah, all on the plate, super easy, almost no materials used. This just works out awesome, guys. So yeah, so that's our rack as it looks right now, right? We've got mung beans growing there on the very bottom, and then the three trays we just planted are shown right there above it, and they're stacked in the bays, okay? That's what our whole rack looks like, right? We've got some mung beans and some lettuce growing down below. I'll show you that on another video with the particulars for that. But that's what's going on down below, and then up above is where we have the racks that we just planted, along with a tray full of mung beans as well. I think the greens there are about on their day 5, if I'm not mistaken, the microgreens. Those are coming along great too. We'll talk about specifics on growing those. That'll be a very soon upcoming video. We got some radish, we got some peas, we got some broccoli, we got some lettuce growing down there on the bottom. But those are coming along awesome. So something for another video. That's how our rack looks currently. But in still room, right? We're still not even using all the room on this thing, and we're growing already a ton of food. So it's going to be good. Going to be good using that thing. So yeah, the whole process, guys, super easy. Used almost no materials, right? Just the seeds, these trays, and some toilet paper. And yeah, and make sure you use just a 1-ply toilet paper, super narrow, right? I use a Scott brand. You don't want something puffy. The roots can't get through paper towels. If you try and do paper towels, oftentimes the roots can't go through, so it makes it hard to bottom water stuff. So I use the toilet paper just as a net to catch the seeds, and then when the roots go through, you can start bottom watering it. By that time, the toilet paper is completely dissolved, so it works out perfect. But super easy, man. It takes, what, 30 seconds, a minute to plant a whole tray full of food. And so these will pop up soon. I'll give you an update when we start bottom watering them. And yeah, we're going to get them out in the garden. My goal is to get them out there on March 1st, right? So most of the stuff says transferred to the garden or start planting in the garden on April 1st. If I check the actual time frame for for a lot of this stuff, especially the romaine and the pak choi and all that. So we're trying to get that jump start. We're going to start them indoors, and then we'll put them out there, and we'll see how they do. If some of them don't make it, then we'll just adapt as we go. So hopefully you found this interesting. I hope you did. As always, it's good to be here. And yeah, don't forget, please like and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. I'm trying to build my channel. We got a lot of good material coming. Thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. This is Troy Time. I'm out.